Hey guys, David Clayton here with GuitarBreakdown.com, and today we're really excited to be bringing you a pedal review on a fantastic pedal called the AH1 Distortion Pedal. It is Allen Hinds' signature distortion pedal. It's made by a guy named Bob Burt, and Bob's based out of Florida here in the United States, and for many years he's been making speaker cabinets and speaker enclosures, and he's an amazing woodworker. We will put a link, of course, in the description below where you could see his stuff, his gallery on his website of his woodworking and amplifiers and all that kind of stuff, or speaker cabinets. He actually does do, I think recently he did a Fuchs head. He actually did an enclosure for that, and it's made out of this wood that, it's just amazing. Take a look at it. So the way I found out about Bob's stuff is I saw Allen Hinds playing at the Baked Potato here in Los Angeles probably a year or so ago, and I saw that he was playing through these two speaker cabinets that were like this V-slant cabinets, and they were made out of this dark wood, and they were beautifully, you can tell they're handmade things, and of course it sounded amazing. Allen's Tone always sounds amazing. But I also saw on his pedal board he had this rather large pedal that was kind of like a tie-dye color. And during the show, after the show, in the middle of the show or something, I talked to Allen and I asked him, about the pedal and the cabinets. And he told me they were Bob Burt stuff. And he said he was working on a signature pedal with Bob based on that pedal. The pedal that it was based on was a pedal that Bob makes that's called the Great Distortion Pedal. And it basically, one of the cool features on it has like this 8-way toggle switch that toggles between different levels of compression. Now, Allen really liked the tone of this pedal, but it was a little big for his liking on the pedal board, and he didn't need all those levels of compression for what he does. So he asked Bob to, they were working on a signature pedal, and he said he wants the same circuitry, but he only needs 2 of those settings on the compression. So that's exactly what he did here. So if you see, and we'll do a close-up, there's a volume switch, a tone switch, a grind, which is the distortion, LED light, the pedal, the switch that you step on. There's an input-output on the right and the left, and there's also on the left-hand side a power supply input. And then there's this little switch, and that's the only little different thing. And it just goes up and down. And basically that's the compression. It's either wide open on one setting and then you switch it to the other one, and that's on the Great Distortion Pedal. Like I said, there were 8 levels of compression. I believe this is like level 6 or something. It's like just slightly above the middle of the compression, but I could be wrong. But I will find that out for you, because we're going to do another review on this. Right now what we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of playing through it, and I'm going to describe some stuff and show you some of the tones, but we're not going to get heavy into it. Allen did a pedal review recently, and we're going to try and do another one with him, hopefully, where he really walks through the settings and all the tones you can get out of this. But for now, like I said, I just want to talk about some of the sounds you can get from this and explain why I think this is an amazing pedal. Now, one of the reasons why I think it's an amazing pedal is because you know how when you try and play like somebody, you never sound like them. You never come close to sounding like them, or you can come close, but it's very hard to really get the nuances and really feel like you're playing like that person as tone-wise. Well, when we did a lesson package with Allen recently, and a little side note, at the very beginning there was the performance that I did was not meant to show you the tone of this pedal, because I had Allen playing in the background based on a video on YouTube. That's what it was from. It's called Elegant Decadence, and that is the song. It's a 4-minute solo that we did a lesson package with Allen on, and just click in the description below and you'll see a link to that. I won't go into it, but it's an amazing lesson package. You learn a lot of licks, you learn the whole 4-minute solo. Allen teaches, breaks down every measure, blah blah blah. Anyway, he was using the pedal at that time, and when I went to his place to shoot this lesson package, he let me play through some of his gear, and I really thought he has this amazing Les Paul, and I really thought that was what was getting most of his tone. It's like a 57 or 58 Les Paul, and it's the best playing guitar I've ever played in my life. It's amazing, really light but very resonant, and sounds just, the sustain is amazing, just beautiful. But then I realized after I got this pedal from Bob that a lot of his tones coming through this. There's this dynamic sensitivity about this pedal that is so great, and I can get it out of my guitars. And again, we'll dive into a little bit and describe what's going on. But I was just blown away that, I mean, Allen can get his tone through anything. He can plug into like a Gorilla amp from the 80s. I don't know if they even still make those things, but he can plug into anything and he will sound like Allen Hinds, like most great players. But I was very surprised that when I played through his rig at his house, I was getting that dynamic, that touch sensitive kind of thing going on. And again, I thought it was more the guitar. But then when I got this from Bob and I was playing it through my rig, I was getting a lot of that with my guitar too. And this is not a 58 Les Paul, or 57 Les Paul. Anyway, so I was really impressed by it, and I wanted to share it with you guys. So I hope you guys enjoy this. I apologize for all the talking, but I figured I'd give you some of the history of it all. And let's get into the review. All right, so what we're going to do here is we're just going to play through this pedal and have a little fun with it. This review is not going to be that typical pedal review where, you know, you sweep through from the left to the right of each knob and show you the different levels of distortion you get out of it, the different tones you get out of it, all that kind of stuff. I kind of have a favorite setting with this pedal. I do switch it up a little bit here and there depending on what head I'm playing through or what amp I'm playing through, what guitar I'm using. But for the most part, I have a pretty solid range where I keep this pedal. And like most distortion pedals, the reason why a lot of people, if you're not familiar with this, have many different distortion pedals or overdrive pedals is because not every pedal can do everything. I mean, it's just the way it works. But what you want is you want a pedal that does what it does really, really well and inspires you to play. And I have 3 different distortion pedals that have been on my board, or overdrive pedals, whatever you want to call them, that have been on my board since the day I got them. And I absolutely love these 3 pedals. And this one in particular, this Allen Hinds AH1 pedal, does what I've been looking for a long time really, really well. It does that Dumble kind of, you know, everybody says the Dumble, the holy grail of an amp. What it is really is it's just a really touch sensitive pedal where you can not only clean up real easily, like you get a great distortion but clean up, but you also get these overtones when you play it different. You use your fingers or your pick, and that's what this pedal does so amazingly well. Now there's another pedal that does that really, really well too that I've been using for probably about a year now, and we're going to do a review on that pedal too. We've been saying it for a long, long time. We just haven't gotten around to it, unfortunately. But that pedal is still a mainstay on my board too. But they do it slightly different. And I'll talk about those two together in a review, how they do the Dumble thing, but they both do them a little bit differently. Anyway, what we're also going to do in the future here, and I know I'm talking, but I'm also going to do another review on this pedal where I am going to sweep through the knobs, play through different guitars, play through different heads, so you could hear the tonal range you can get out of this pedal with a player like myself, who I try and be as dynamic as I can, but I am nowhere near what Allen Hinds is. Allen is just a master at tone, and he gets this amazing sound out of his fingers no matter what he plays through. Then we are working on Allen's website. We're helping him with his website. We have been for a while. We've actually been neglecting our website for a while. So Allen's website should be up soon, brand new, and he's got a review on this pedal, but what we're going to hopefully do is we're going to do a review on this pedal with him where he sweeps through the knobs and everything and talks about how he uses it and what tones he can get out of it and how he uses it with different guitars and amps and stuff. And then you'll have two different reviews you can really base your decision off if you plan on buying a pedal like this, because you'll see what I can do with it and what he can do with it, and you'll see that there's some common ground in there because there's this touch sensitive way about this pedal that's just so fantastic. Anyway, let's just get into playing through this a little bit, and I will show a picture of how I have this set up right now. And again, I just, the volume changes a little, the tone changes just slightly, the grind maybe up and down a little bit, but generally it stays in this setting for the most part, the way for most of what I play through this pedal. So let's get into some playing. Alright, so that was just messing around a little bit. I hope that demonstrated somewhat how dynamic this pedal is. If you noticed, I didn't change my volume knob at all, and you still could hear, I tried to start out playing really lightly and then getting a little heavier at certain points, and you could hear how it cleans up really nicely. Now, to me, that's a really good distortion or overdrive pedal. A lot of overdrive pedals, they clean up nicely when you roll back your volume pot. But as far as the dynamic range you can get by playing lighter and harder, the pick attack, whether you're using your fingers or your pick, a lot of times doesn't translate in some pedals. So that's what's so amazing about this pedal. Like at any volume that you have your guitar set, even if you have it all the way rolled up and you're getting a lot of gain, which I had there, I think I was set to, on my volume on my guitar, it was set to like 8 or 9. I always dial it back just a little bit usually for these pickups. But on the pedal, I had the grind up halfway, which this pedal really can get a lot of grind, and we'll go over that real quickly. But I have it halfway up, and the tone's at like 11 o'clock, the volume's at 11 o'clock, and it's on the compression setting, which is that really sweet setting on this pedal. And you could hear that when I picked lighter, as opposed to heavier, it cleaned up, or it got a little more gainy and distortion when I attacked it harder. Now, that to me just makes an awesome pedal. The one thing I do have to tell you, I'm running through a few different pedals on my pedal board into this pedal. A lot of people, when they do reviews, they run straight in and straight out into the amp, and that's great and everything, but I can't play like that. I have a hard time doing that. So, because there's just no breathing and all that, the pedal has to breathe to me, and I have to have a little bit of delay and a little reverb. It's just the way I play. So, the other thing is, when you see a lot of pedal reviews, regardless if they're going straight in or they're using any other pedals with it, it's one of those things that you kind of have to get a general idea. You use these reviews, in my opinion, to get a general idea of what the pedal can do. And then if you like what you're hearing, you have to try it yourself, because your fingers are going to sound completely different through the pedal, and whatever's recorded may not sound exactly the way it sounds live. So you just take this, with a grain of salt, and you maybe take the opinion of the person doing the review if you like the way they get their tone and stuff. So with that said, I'm going through my Ernie Ball volume pedal, which really doesn't change the character of the tone too much, into an RC booster, and I just use that with everything. And there's no real gain on it. It's turned way down. It's just more of it thickens the tone up a little bit, which is really nice to me. Then I'm going into the Allen Hinds AH1 Distortion Pedal by Bob Burt. And then I'm just adding a little bit of reverb through my Strymon Blue Sky Reverb, and a little bit of delay through my analog Maxon AD999 delay. And that's it. Then I go into the Cirque head, the 18-watt Badger. So basically the tone's really coming out of the AH1 Distortion pedal. So if you want to hear this straight just through the pedal by itself, let us know, and we'll do a review like that. I'll have Alan do that, because he probably can do it much better than I can. I just really have a hard time playing without reverb or delay, just a little touch of it. All right, so let me mess around just a little more. I'll show you what the volume knob on your guitar can do, how it can affect the tone of this pedal, and how much range you really get with this. So we'll just, I have it set to like 4 or 5, right? That was me picking a little lighter, a little harder, then back to a little lighter, right? Now if I really hit the strings, right? So it gets a little grit, right? And it's at a good volume. And then if you turn the volume up to say 7 or 8, right? That's picking really lightly. Right, again, that's going through that range, and you hear that when I pick it a little lighter or heavier, you really get a little more grit. Alright, really nice. Now if I turn it all the way up to 10, you get... So you could hear how, you can really get a large dynamic range out of this, playing really light, even with your volume turned all the way to 10. It lightens up really nice. Here's at volume 10 and really picking lightly. Right, and then you get a little harder. It's really nice, and I wouldn't say mushy, but that's such a bad word, I guess, for a pedal, but it's got this really kind of Fenderish kind of softness to it as far as the distortion goes, and which makes it really, really playful with your fingers. I mean, that's the best part about this pedal, and if I can describe it in any way, I love just sitting here with my volume turned, again, maybe at 7 or 8 or whatever, the gain halfway up here, and just sit there and go, I just like the frequencies or the harmonics I'm getting out of this, out of my fingers with this pedal, it's just so inspiring. And that's what's great about a pedal that's really good, or an amp or a guitar or anything. If it inspires you to play, and especially in a way that you usually don't, like if you're just playing riffs and doing legato stuff and all this kind of stuff, that's great. But when a pedal really makes you slow down and want to just play, you know, just one or two notes. Right? Now, to me, all pedals are shaping your tone, right? So when you find a pedal that shapes your tone in a way that it inspires you to slow down and just listen to each individual note, and you're getting something out of it, again, I keep saying this harmonic overtone and these frequencies that ring out and everything, but when you actually play a pedal that you hear that does this to your tone, it's one of those things that I know it's going to make, that's a pedal that's going to stay on my pedal board for a long time. And this does that. I mean, you actually hear like... And it also you hear some of those notes ringing together, the frequencies, and it makes you want to pick lighter and harder, and that's, again, it's a very dynamic pedal, and that's what makes it so inspiring to play. It makes me want to play things like this kind of typical thing. It's real pretty. It's, again, you're getting all these dynamics. It really inspires you to lighten up your pick attack and then maybe hit a little harder, and it makes playing really fun. So anyway, enough about that. Like I said, we're going to do some more reviews on this pedal as I get more time to spend with it. We will do a review where we just go through the whole, you know, turning the volume or the gain all the way down, turning it up to 2 o'clock, turning it up to 4 o'clock, you know, and just keep going through it like that so you could hear more of the range of this pedal. And Allen's done we're helping Allen with his website. Again, I think I said that already, kind of neglecting our own website. But we're going to shoot some more videos with Allen here in the near future. And one of them we'll do another pedal review. He already did one, but we'll do another one where we have him hopefully, you know, again, go through the whole range of it and talk about how he uses it in getting his sound. So I hope you guys like this. Check out this pedal if you're interested. I will put a link below where you can get more information about this pedal and where you can buy it. Again, I can't say enough about it. It's a really inspiring playing pedal, and for me, it's definitely something. I've had it for about a month and a half, 2 months now, and I just can't stop playing it. So take it for what it's worth, and I hope you guys enjoy that, and then we will see you on the next review. Thanks, guys.